Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Terry, and this is the Yarnjoy podcast, episode number 21. Thank you for all my returning viewers and my subscribers and my new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do. And I make weekly videos and show the progress that I've made on the different projects that I make. Today I have some finished objects. I have some works in progress, and I have one purchase. Okay, so my first works in progress is I made a toaster pastry pillow, and this is for an upcoming birthday party I'm going to. So I hope I'm not spoiling it by showing it on the camera. But anyway, here it is. I'm sure everybody can tell by looking at it what it's supposed to be. I hope so anyway. I got this pattern from a website called divinedebris.com, and it was really fun to put together. It was the front panel was, I guess you'd call it tapestry crochet. It's all single crochets, and I followed, there was no chart, it was just written instructions actually, and so I just followed that and changed colors, all the different places that I was supposed to change colors. This is all Red Heart yarn. In fact, I was supposed to do 2 panels of this pattern, but I decided just to do the front panel, and then the back panel I just did it plain because of course the toaster pastries that we have all eaten as kids, and some may still eat them, they only have the icing on the front anyway. But anyway, I thought it was super cute, and I hope the recipient of this little pillow will enjoy it. Okay, so that was my first finished object. My second finished object was, yes, I'm still working on the 365 Days of Granny Squares project with my friends at the Stitch Your Library Facebook group. And this week I was able to get squares number 23 to 27. Okay, so here's number 23. I really liked this pattern. It was fun to make, and I just really liked the way it turned out. I think the pattern was really cute. I'm definitely going to remember this one and use it for projects in the future. So that's number 23. Here's number 24. And let's see. Then we have number 25. And number 26. And number 27. This one was really interesting. It has double treble stitches, double treble front post stitches, I guess you'd say here, on 2 different rows. And then it was alternating with a row of a regular granny stitch row. So I thought this was very interesting to put together. At first I was thinking, oh, it was kind of fiddly, but really it wasn't too bad, and I think it was pretty fun to make. I wouldn't mind making them again. Okay, so these squares, there is a YouTube video or YouTube tutorial for each of these squares. It's by Yarn Utopia, that's Nadia, and this was a project that she did last year. She released a video, one video per day, and so to add up to the 365 days, and it's all variations of the granny square. So those are the ones I've done so far. And then, let's see, so that was my second works in progress. Okay, and then my third and fourth works in progress, finished objects. This goes along with the birthday gifts that I've been putting together. And this actually is a sewing project. I worked on these this past Saturday. I had a free day, and so I felt like doing some sewing, so here you go. I made a drawstring backpack. And I've followed a YouTube tutorial, sewing tutorial, and the website is, the channel name is Shabby Fabrics, I believe, and I'll have a link below. And it was a very fun pattern to put together. It was easy. The tutorial is I really like following their tutorials, this Shabby Fabrics channel. They have some really cute patterns. I've used several of their tutorials for different projects, and they do a very good job at showing you exactly what to do. Okay, so there's the drawstring backpack, and then I also had some material left over, and so I made a little zippered pouch to go with it, and I lined it in pink material. The drawstring backpack is also lined in this solid pink material. So those are the finished objects I have for this week. Okay, so now for my works in progress, still talking about the 365 days of grannies. As you know from my last video, I have been putting them together using a flat braid join as you go method. And so for this week, I was able to get my third row put together. I think it's coming together really nicely. I really like the colors. I think the black, because when I first picked out the colors, I thought, oh, these are kind of wild colors. But with the black bordering each square, I think it really brings it together well. I think this is going to be a really nice blanket. So I've got 7 squares across, and so far 3 rows. These are the first 21 squares. And I think I'm going to do 5 rows. Yes, 5 rows, so that would make 35 squares. And I think that would be a good maybe lap gown size, I suppose. So I'm anxious to see how that's turning out, and then after I get finished with this, then I'll continue on with my 365 granny square goal, and I will just pick out another set of colors and work on another blanket with another group of the squares as I go along. So I'm really enjoying this project. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and then as you see behind me, this is a blanket that I've been working on for the past 2 or 3 episodes, I guess. Or maybe this is the 3rd episode. I'm not sure that I've showed it. And as you see, it is getting bigger. And so I think maybe after this episode, I'm not sure if I'll be able to have it pinned out and displayed this way, because it just keeps getting bigger. And so, but I did want to show you that I did make a little progress on it. Last week, I think I had stopped with the panels here that I had applied to both sides, which made it a rectangle. And so this week, I was able to get this section here, right there, all the way around it. It's like a mesh. Well, I had some solid stitches here, and then I had this mesh section, and I got that all the way around. And then I have a double crochet here of that row, and then I believe I have a single crochet row around, and then I will start the fan scallop border that's around that, and then that would be finishing off. But the fans are a pretty good size. I don't have the picture to show you right now, but it's the Annie's lace throw, and it was a pattern that I bought as a kit from Mary Maxim, and you got the yarn and the pattern in the kit, and it's still there, available on their website. It is, I believe, $19.99 right now, and you pick there's a selection of colors that you can pick. It uses Caron Simply Soft, and I really recommend this pattern. It just works up really pretty, and everybody that I've ever given one to really enjoys it. This is actually the 4th one that I've done. I did the first one in the Caron Simply Soft pistachio color, and then I did another one in Caron Simply Soft bone, which is a neutral light tan color, I guess you'd say. And then I did another one for a wedding gift, and it was kind of a meadow green. I can't remember exactly the name of the green, but it was the Karen Simply Soft, kind of a medium meadow green, something like that, I think. And so this one is, this color is the berry blue. And I'm on my 4th skein. Yes, I just started working with my 4th skein, and I've got one more that I bought. I believe the kit comes with 6, but it seems to me like I only maybe used 5 the last time. I can't remember. But the color is readily available. I was able to pick it up at Joann's. I had to get another skein and of the berry blue, and they have it. And so it was readily available for me to pick up. Okay, so that works in progress. I'm really liking the way it's working up, and it feels really nice. And I haven't even washed it. When you wash it, of course, it even softens up even further. Okay, so also last week I was showing you that I was working on the Lion brand down on the farm, playmat, and I've been working on that for a few weeks, and I got all the animals done. Last week I showed you that I had the tractor that I did. And so this week I did and I believe, yes, I was starting on the duck. Well, I finished the duck. I got his beak and I got his wings and stitched his eyes on. And then I did a pig right there. And I did a sheep. Now actually, for the sheep, I did this one just last night, and I was going to follow there's a sheep pattern that is included in this pattern set, but I happened to be watching something on TV, and I was thinking, oh, I want to finish this up, and I didn't want to pull my pattern, go dig my pattern out and find it, but I didn't have my phone with me, so I just looked it up, and I thought, I just want to follow a YouTube tutorial for it to see if I can find one that's similar and would be sufficient. And so Happy Berry Crochet has a YouTube tutorial of a little sheep, and I went ahead and just followed hers. And what I really liked about it is when I did the pig, okay, so the pig was done following the instructions, the Lion brand instructions, and it was fine. It turned out fine, except that you had to do the ears separate and stitch them on, and they're so tiny and fiddly, it was kind of hard to get them stitched on, and I hate stitching on pieces if I don't have to. I did have to do the feet separate also and stitch them on. Well, with the sheep, she had this technique that I liked the way she did it. She had this technique. You start at the nose here and you do the dark gray, and then but you don't fasten off, and then you start with the white and you do a couple of rows and until you get to the part where you want to get the ears done, and then you pick up the gray because it's still connected, and then you do drop the white, do a couple of stitches for the ears, and then pick up the white and continue on. It was really interesting. I've never done a pattern like that, but I really liked it because the ears just ended up being, you didn't have to stitch them on separately. You just created them when you needed to put them there. Now I did have to do the feet separate and stitch those on, but anyway, I thought that turned out good, and the scale size is not too bad. It's comparable to the size of the pig. It's a little smaller than the pig, but oh well, I can just say this is a baby lamb, a baby sheep. So anyway, got those done. And let's see, what else? Okay, and then on the mat itself, now I still don't have the pieces sewed on because I was kind of waiting to make sure the sizes was going to be okay with the placement and along with the animals that I made. So now I am ready to put stitch these pieces on. So by next episode they will be attached and look a whole lot better. So right now they're kind of wonky, because they're just pinned on. But here's the play mat. As you can see up there in the corner, I did the green, and now that was supposed to be like a grassy patch, and I was supposed to use like, well, the original pattern called for you to use green fun fur, I believe. Last week I called it eyelash yarn, but it may be the same thing, but they actually called it fun fur, and I don't have any of that, and I couldn't find any at Joann's. And so I thought, well, I'll just use this green. It's called Tones of Green, I think. Or no, Green Tones from Red Heart. Is this variegated here with different shades of green. And so I used that, and at first I thought, well, I'll do like a loop stitch. Happy Berry Crochet has a pattern for a grassy patch also, and she shows you how to do a loop stitch, and then I believe she clips the loops, and that causes it to be like grass. Well, I started doing it and following her tutorial, and it was just really fiddly for me to do, and I just didn't feel like putting in the time. Well, I'm sure it's a great pattern, but I'm also, you have to keep in mind, if you don't remember, that I'm left-handed, and so any of the tutorials that I follow, it's backwards to me if it's for right-handers. And so most of the time I don't have any trouble just thinking in reverse when I'm watching a right-handed tutorial. But for this one, it was just so, they had so many weird steps to it, I guess you'd say, to make the loops, that it was just very difficult, and I was just kind of getting frustrated because, you know, I kept doing it, but it was backwards because me being left-handed. And so I thought, no, I'm just going to stitch it a flat piece and just allow the tones of green to suffice for the grass and see if that looks fine. And I think it's fine. I think it'll be fine. So down here at the bottom, I did the little vegetable patch, which is a brown patch, and there's a couple of places, only 2 of them, that's open, and what that is for these 2 carrots. They're very large carrots, but the little carrots will fit into those holes in that brown patch there, like you're planting, like they're in the garden still. So I made 2 carrots. And so, and the only other thing I was going to tell you about is the barn right here. Okay, you're going to be I'm going to be stitching on the sides here, but the doors are going to be open, and I was thinking, well, if you open the doors, there should be something in there that you can see, right? And so I found on this magazine here that I found, it's actually patterned for a blanket, but there's an applique that's a cowl right here. Whoop. Right there. And I thought, oh, that's really cute. And so I thought, well, maybe if I make it like maybe even with crochet thread instead of worsted weight yarn and a very small hook, maybe I could decrease the size that way. Well, I started working on it this morning, and I got the head done, and then I started doing the body, and all the parts are separate, so you have to, you know, stitch them together. But anyway, the body was so large that even the body by itself was not going to fit. And so between, you know, in here, and I didn't want to have to redo the barn doors and make them bigger to accommodate the bigger applique that I was going to stick in there. So I'm thinking on doing, I still have the head that I had made, so if I open it up here, now they're just pinned and the eyes aren't on or anything, but maybe you can kind of tell. See, I was thinking about stitching them on, so when you open the door, it was at least there would even be a face of a cow. And I might even move it over and make one with horns and then make another one without horns, like it's a bull and a cow possibly. We'll see. I'll see what I come up with. And oh, and the top of the barn here is supposed to have a window, like a hayloft. And I haven't made that yet, so I'm still working. But I should be stitching these onto the mat this week, and that way next week when I show it to you, it won't be so fiddly for me to hold, and I won't have it pinned. It'll actually be stitched on there. So that's my other work in progress. And the only other thing that I was going to show you as a work in progress is last week I told you about a shawl that I was actually knitting last winter, and I worked on it, but I never finished it, so I was never able to wear it. And then the summer came and it was hot, and I didn't think about shawls, and so I just never finished it. And last week I was telling you that I only thought I had like 9 rows to go. Well, after I pulled it out and looked at it, it wasn't 9 rows that I had left to go. It was 9 stripes. Well, actually, it's a 2-color shawl, and it was 9 stripes of one color and 8 stripes of the other, alternating. But to make a stripe, each stripe is 2 rows. Well, so that's more rows than 9 rows, but I just want to clarify that. But I have made some progress on it. I did pull it out, and let me show you the picture of it, because since it's still on the needles and it is kind of a crescent shaped shawl, I believe, there really isn't a really good way that I can stretch it out so you can see it really well. But here's the picture of it, and the pattern is actually a paid for pattern, and it is by Lisa Mutch, M-U-T-C-H, and the name of the shawl is Descent. She has many shawls patterns on Ravelry that she has for sale, and I think they're beautiful shawls. The patterns are really different, and so anyway, let me show you the picture. This one is done in like a silver, I guess, and then a charcoal possibly, or like a gray and a charcoal, but that's what it's supposed to look like there, with stripes and then short rows and solid wedges there. Well, what I picked out, hopefully I won't lose any stitches when I hold it up, but I don't know if you could tell on the on camera or not, but it is a dark, like a plum. Yeah, maybe you can, but it's a dark plum and a gray. And so this is the top part. It starts with a section of stripes, and then you've got this wedge here, and then another section of stripes, and then the purple wedge. And then see, as you can tell at the bottom, I'm working on another section of stripes, and then it will be done. And I have never done short rows before, and so just looking at the stitches, I can tell that it's definitely not gonna be perfect, but I think it's gonna turn out nice once I block it, and maybe that will hide kind of the wonkiness. I think one reason I had trouble with is, since I am also a left-handed knitter, in the pattern there's some increases, but the increases she uses make one left and make one right, you know, and I think maybe the reason my rows didn't turn out quite right when I was doing that is because maybe since I'm left-handed knitter, maybe when it said make one left, I should have done make one right, you know, do it opposite maybe. I'm not sure. Any of you knitters out there that are more experienced knitters than I am, maybe you can tell me if maybe that's what the problem was. I don't know, but I'm anxious to get it finished because as you know, from the last video, or last 2 videos ago, I was talking about some yarn that I've ordered that has not come yet because it's coming from Germany, but I'm anxious to get it, and I found a fingering weight shawl that I'm going to crochet, and I'm going to use that yarn with it. It's my birthday yarn, I guess, because I probably won't get it for another week or so, and my birthday is in November, so I just kind of ordered this for myself. I saw it and I thought, oh, I really want to try that yarn. I saw it in somebody else's YouTube channel. I believe it was Lottie and Albert, and on her podcast. Lindsay, I can't remember her last name, but I'll link her channel below. But anyway, she was using the yarn, and I thought it was really pretty, and so I'm thinking I'm gonna order that, and that's gonna be my some birthday yarn, I guess. And so so I'm anxious to do that, but I wanted to finish this shawl first, so then I can get the crocheted shawl started once I get the yarn. Okay, so that's all my finished objects, my works in progress. I have another little sewing project that I may get done in a couple of days, possibly, and hopefully can show that to you next week. I'm kind of getting back to wanting to do a few bags, project bags, or really bags for gift that I will maybe use for gifts and things at Christmas. Besides my crocheting course, always crocheting first. but that's really everything that I have to show you at the moment. So the only other thing is I ordered I made an order with Mary Maxim, and I ordered a blanket kit, another blanket kit, mainly because of the yarn that it uses. I've never used this yarn before, and I thought, oh well, this I get the pattern and I get the yarn and I'll get to try it out. Well, this yarn is the Mary Maxim Prism yarn, and it is, the feel of it, I believe, is a lot like the oh, let me think. I think it's Red Heart Unforgettable, or, and there's a line brand version of it, and I can't think of what it is right now. But anyway, I've seen it at the store, and I thought that it looked really pretty, it felt good, and so I was anxious to try crocheting with it and see what it would be like. So anyway, this is a lot like that, and so it's Mary Maxim Prism. It's a number 3 weight yarn, and look at the colors. The colorway is called Raindrop, and it's got these jades. It's like jewel tones, and it's got the jades and I don't know if you call that turquoise, but anyway, purples and navies. It's just really, really pretty. And so the pattern that came with it is called the Infinity Knot Throw. And here's the picture of it. I don't know if you really can tell. You can look it up on their website and maybe see a better picture of it. What it is I believe it's 4 big squares that you do, and then you stitch them together to make this throw. And the squares, let's see, I'll hide the pattern here. It's like that. So I think this is going to be really interesting to put together. So that'll be an upcoming blanket that I will be working on. So anyway, that's really it for the week. I was working mainly on some of these birthday gifts to make sure that I had them finished, so then I can give them to the recipient. And so because of that, I didn't get a whole lot done on a few of these other things, but I did get some work done on them, like this blanket. Really anxious to get this blanket done so I can give it to my the lady that I was wanting to give it to. It was one of my nurses that I had last year when I had different things done. And so anyway, she was so nice to me, I was wanting to give her something. So this is the blanket that I'm making for her. So that's all for the week, for this week, and I hope everybody has a great week, and please subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for sticking with me and watching my video. My channel is growing, and so I'm happy about that. I'm enjoying so much making friends and sharing the things that I do, the things that I'm making with other people that enjoy yarn projects. And so anyway, please subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching my video. We'll see you next week. Bye.